Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live, talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the show. I'm going to try not to scream as much today because after screaming all through the show yesterday, my throat was bad again. I ripped it apart. So I'm going to, if any screaming is to be done, I'm going to delegate that to Susan.
What do you mean?
Yeah, good. You do it. Any histrionics, I cede the territory to you.
Okay, well, mostly I'll just yell at you if you're yelling.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I found I screamed so much that this morning when I woke up and I yawned, yawning hurt because it stretches when you yawn, you stretch that soft palate. You might not know this because your soft palate isn't ripped apart. Jeez, it hurts to yawn. Well, then don't get bored or tired. So it's election day. I don't know if it is where you are, but it's election day.
There's no elections here, but yeah, there's elections.
Well, there's elections here, and it's the kind of elections that Democrats generally avoid because they don't think they're important. You know, just things like, I don't know, judges and school boards. Nothing sexy, although we are, in all likelihood, about to elect. We're voting for mayor today. And our incumbent mayor, of course, was stunningly knocked off in a primary by a black state representative. And he's, I mean, if he doesn't win today, it would be astounding since Republicans have not won the Pittsburgh mayoralty since 1930s. So that would really.
Is it also primaries for the senatorial races or something?
No. Nope. That'll happen in the spring.
Okay, because that guy's in trouble.
Oh.
You got.
Yeah. Susan must have heard about the wonderful Trump endorsed.
Well, he's making national news.
Yeah, I saw it in the the Washington Post today quoted Pittsburgh City paper, ladies and gentlemen. The Washington Post coverage quoted City Paper in their coverage of Sean Parnell, who is the Trump endorsed candidate to replace Senator Pat Toomey, who is not running for re-election. And so the reason he's in the news is that he is in a extremely contentious and ugly divorce proceeding in which his wife in which his wife has accused him of strangling her, of being I mean he's an abuser.
Yeah, abusing the children as well, striking the child so hard that they left raised welts of his hand on the kid. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people, Susan, of old-timey people say, yeah, so, However, she's had...
Well, you can't say that to strangulation, sorry.
No, and in fact, one of the things that I found interesting in reading about this is that people who know about the red flags in different kinds of domestic violence say that attempted strangulation is one of the strongest indicators that predictors of ending up dead. Studies have shown that women who have been non-lethally strangled by their partner face a 7 times higher risk of becoming homicide victims of the same partner. So this is a guy that I believe Donald Trump said would be.
Wait a minute. There's he's even better than that. He is pro-life, aka pro forced birth. And at one point in their marriage, he kicked his wife out the car, calling her a whore and demanding that she abort the child.
Right. Yeah, he's a wonderful person, and exactly the kind of person that Donald Trump would say this about. And this is what Donald Trump said: he will make Pennsylvania very proud. Yeah, I'm so proud right now. I'm not sure if I can contain my feelings of pride. This certainly is a bit of a problem for Mr. Parnell, I would think.
Who was outraged that she would say such a thing.
Oh, dear. So
why he'd like to strangle her.
Well, I got to tell you, this is going to be, I feel for all of us in this race. This is going to be one of the most watched races nationally in terms of control of the Senate. Open seat that had been held by a Republican, and the Democrats have a number of really good candidates. That's the problem for the Democrats. There are too many great candidates. The Republicans, of course, have nothing but horrible candidates, Parnell being the front runner at this point. But Democrats are going to have to decide between the safe and very capable Connor Lamb, who, by the way, Connor Lamb did beat this very same Sean Parnell for his seat.
Yeah.
This last time. His seat got redistricted, and he ended up running against Parnell, and he beat him. So it beat him in a very purpley, trending reddish district. So that speaks to Connor Lamb's, electability, perhaps. Then you have the more out there, John Fetterman, our lieutenant governor, who's well known simply, I think, by virtue of his
because he's a character.
Yeah, he's this amazing, character.
You're right. He looks like he belongs on the wide world of wrestling.
Or he looks like he's scary looking. He's huge
or the Addams family. He'd do well on the Addams family.
Yeah, he does look like the Addams family. He could. Was that Lurch? He definitely looks like Lurch in the Addams family. He's taken off a lot of weight, so he doesn't look quite as scary as he used to. And he's clever. He knows how to use social media. I don't know. I mean, he'd be fine. Lamb would be fine. There's another guy out of Philly, Malcolm Kenyatta, who would be great. These are all these really good people. And Democrats are really going to have a problem. Now, speaking of Democrats having a problem, I find it, if Terry McAuliffe doesn't win in Virginia today, I'm going to freak, because because
the forces of evil can simply scream critical race theory, and a bunch of white folks will vote for the Republican. And it's nauseating.
Well, I saw, Susan, I wish I could, I wish I could show it right now. There was an interview I saw of a man who was asked who he was voting for. And this is, I'd say, he's like a high 60s, low 70s aged guy, white guy. And he said, I'm voting for Youngkin. And the reporter said, why? And he said, well, critical race theory. And the reporter said, what is it about critical race theory that makes you so against voting for McAuliffe, for instance? And he said, well, I just don't like it. And he said, well, could you explain what you don't like about it? Well, I'm not going. And this guy, quite clearly, the reporter kept saying, until he was actually saying, well, what is critical race theory? The guy didn't have a clue. Not a clue. It's just the latest. It's the latest outrage thing.
I swear. They think critical race theory means you're being critical of the white race. and they don't want their kids to feel bad about being white. That is their whole amazing concept. It's like awe-inspiring, the quality of their, excuse the word, critical thinking capability. But to them, critical means I'm being critical, and I'm being critical of you. And they're mad.
Yeah, and you know what? This is nothing. These are the same people throughout American history. So this guy is of a generation that terrorized little black children who were integrating schools. We've seen the pictures, the horror that those unbelievably brave little kids had to, run this gauntlet of hate and racist vitriol just to go to school. And their opposition now to critical race theory is that it's conceivable that their grandchildren will be taught that happened. Right. That in America, just a few generations ago, little black kids were taunted and had things thrown at them just because they were going to go to school with white children. That is so. That is what these people don't want taught. We can't teach real history because it doesn't make white people look good.
Because the white people wrote the history and the white people lied. And so they don't want anybody to know that. It's not like we don't know it. They don't want it to be the official propaganda line. That's all. And it's so ridiculous. And the bottom line is they don't know what they're talking about.
No, I know they don't. First of all, it's critical.
We're having a conversation about people that don't know what they're talking about.
And they're not, and they're talking about something that isn't happening. There is no critical race theory taught in K through 12 anywhere. But now they've gotten so freaked, you can't even, I don't know, I guess we're not even going to be taught that there was slavery in the United States if these people have their way. An inconvenient truth. Man, is that a title that can be...
No, what we're going to be taught is there was slavery and their black people owned slaves.
Yes, black people did own slaves. That's true.
Yes, that's what we're going to be taught.
Indigenous people owned slaves.
That's right.
Yeah. Why can't we learn what happened?
Indigenous people enslaved white people that they captured.
Also enslaved black people. They also enslaved black people.
Well, they did, but they enslaved captors.
Not a lot. Not a lot.
No.
I mean,
they're prisoners.
Why can't, I don't know, but the reality is we need to be able to face reality.
Okay. To face our own history.
Reality.
But we've got a lot of this in our, it's really built into talking about, critical legal theories. Some of this stuff is hard baked into our legal system, like expunging criminal charges from your record. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying we have laws that say we can rewrite history so that it's better for you in the future.
I bet more white people get expunged than black people.
I'm just saying, that we have actually baked part of this lying into our system. That you are allowed to rewrite history under certain situations.
That something that did happen never happened.
Yeah. That the legal truth will be that something that you definitely did will be held never to have happened.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, actually. So, I just want to say this apropos of nothing. That's not true. I hate Manchin. I hate him.
What the fuck excuse me, what is the matter with that man? And who, I don't mean to sound like a right-wing conspiracy person, but who the hell is paying him? Well, I mean, it just feels like somebody, he's on a leash.
No, he's in deep with he's a gazillionaire himself.
He's on a power trip to end all power trips.
Yeah.
He is enjoying the hell out of himself. And he is disconnected from the reality of what he's doing.
I can't say what
I know. He's added to my prayer list. It's just terrible.
I think Susan's prayer list is for them to drop dead.
No, it's just it's a list that I keep for God to present in as a petition right before the high holy days when the book of life is read. Just nominations.
And dear God, you might want to consider. These people have not really, been doing the right stuff. So I just want to say one other thing about the election here today that I can't believe I didn't focus on more. I think I was in denial that it was true. But I already voted because I now vote with, by mail, which was not really much available to us until just a few years ago because of the pandemic. They sort of opened everything up, right, and let us vote by mail, and then I liked it and said that's the way I want to keep doing it. So I get ballots for every election delivered to my house, and I mail them back. Now, there were a lot of warnings the last few days that if you haven't mailed in your ballot, the mail service is not going to get it to the county in time. So the only thing you can do now is drop it off in person. In the entire county, Susan, Allegheny County, which is, of course, over 1 million human beings, how many drop boxes do you think there are?
Well, depending on the composition of your legislature, the answer is
well, the county, no, that would be
your county council.
This is a county, and this is a Democratic county.
One.
Democratic county executive.
Oh, I'm going to go big. I'm going to say 3.
All right. Well, you are incorrect. You were right the first time.
1. Okay.
In the entire, I'm going to try not to scream. In the entire county of Allegheny, there is one place to drop your vote off, which of course requires a lot of travel for some people. It's a big county. And that's insane. That's even, I have a feeling there's not a county in Texas that's that bad. One?
Oh, don't go that far.
Well, I don't know. One for the whole effing county? And guess where it is? It's in the easily accessible, no problem parking in downtown Pittsburgh. That some people in the county are afraid to even venture into. Why?
What's their explanation? Hasn't anybody
I don't know, but no, I don't know. But man, I sure am going to try to see if someone's going to make sure this is not reality the next election. Be coming up in the spring primary. This is an outrage. Unbelievable. And that's, I mean, this is a Democratic county.
Yeah, I mean, in Brown County, which is where Green Bay is located.
Green Bay is.
But Green Bay and Brown County is peppered with all these little villages and towns. Well, the village of Alloway had its own drop box right in front of the Alloway Town Hall.
Town Hall, yeah, sure.
So just within, I'd say, 10 minutes of Mother's house, I can think of at least 3 different drop boxes that would have been available to her. One in De Pere, one in downtown Green Bay, one in Alloway.
Yeah. So that's just the way it is in any reasonable jurisdiction. And it makes no sense whatsoever. It is really outrageous. Okay. Now I have an easier question. Why don't we keep butter out?
I do.
Okay. Well, since I had this unpleasant throat experience in the last week, I found eating anything solid was very painful. And I ended up keeping my butter out, and then it was nice and soft, and I put it on some bread, and then I dipped the bread into like a broth, and then it would almost just slide down, and I got so into this butter that was like not hard. And so it's still
I got a birthday present for you.
Okay, well, I just want to tell you, what is it with us, and we can't be alone, thinking butter, what is that with butter in the refrigerator?
Yeah,
Why?
It doesn't have to be. The real reason to do it is just so that it's not sitting out and collecting stuff. But I have a butter dish that is designed, and even has its own little butter knife. It's designed to remind you that you can keep your butter on the counter.
Well, I do keep mine, and I have it covered.
Yeah.
I got a little butter dish.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time I was in grade school, and I went to a fellow student's house. God, I remember her name. Isn't that amazing? I can't remember the name of somebody I met yesterday. Linda Oberer.
I remember Linda Oberer.
You do?
Sure.
I can barely see her. And
I just remember her name. I don't know that I can see her. But.
She was not a good friend. I don't recall even if she made it into our high school. I don't think she did. So I think this was a grade school friendship, kind of. And I, for some reason, ended up at Linda Oberer's house, which was a tiny little house. And we went into her kitchen, and there was butter sitting on the table, and it was soft. And I remember to this day being stunned. I mean, to me, this was.
I think that's interesting because, you were shocked. I also can remember where I was when I first encountered room temperature, left that way all the time butter. And it was on Cape Cod, and I was in my 20s.
Wow. So these things where you think this is the way it is, because this is the way my family does it and everyone I know does it, butter is kept in the refrigerator and as hard as a rock, and it makes it impossible to spread on bread.
Yeah, and if you want to cook or you want to bake, you have to purposefully bring it up to room temperature.
So what the hell?
Well, I store the butter that's waiting to be used in the refrigerator. I keep one stick out on my cupboard in my cupboard baking dish.
I'm so happy I found this out. Yeah.
And by the way, it tastes better. It's the only way you can.
Oh, you taste the sweetness of it. And I have to tell Linda Oberer, or Mrs. Oberer, thank you. You were right all along. It only took me 70 years to come around.
Well, you know what? I was having the conversation about the things that it took me so long to learn that it would have made my life just so much better. And here's the one that I'm going to share with you. Everybody is just guessing. Some people are more educated than others about things and therefore make better guesses. But in the end, everybody's just going with what they know the best and then guessing from there, winging a prayer. And, the world goes around because most of these educated guesses come out okay. But if I had just known that that's how things actually were, I would have felt much better about myself. I wouldn't have been so hooked on thinking that things go this way or go that way. I would have known that the world is a place of complete unknowns at all times.
Susan, we have tons of calls. I know what you said was just now was profound, but I just found out we got...
Go take the calls. I just wanted to share that was my epiphany at 70.
Yeah. God, keep those epiphanies coming. Okay. Hello, whoever you are.
Hey, Lynn. Hey, Susan. It's Mike in Upper St. Clair.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, it is.
First, I want to say to Susan, I don't call every day, Susan. It seems like every time you're on, I call.
Okay. Well, hi. It happens.
Hi. And also, that is the best explanation for critical race theory of what white people think it is that I've ever heard of. That if they think that it's criticizing their race. I love that.
Well, I think I'm right. Don't you think I'm right?
Exactly. Right. And their race meaning white people. You're criticizing white people. Mm-hmm. How dare you?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the Lincoln Project came out with a commercial about this. I have it queued up. It's a minute if you want to listen to it, or I can just tell you about it. Which do you prefer?
Lynn?
Alice.
Tell you? Okay. So they said that critical race theory is really the dog whistle for Black people. That under in the 60s, and they have, who's the guy before my time? I forget who the racist was that ran against Kennedy. Who was that guy?
Goldwater ran against Kennedy.
Goldwater, yeah.
David Duke.
Goldwater. Anyway,
okay.
That it used to just be you couldn't say the N-word. Then you couldn't say Negro. Then you couldn't say this. Then you couldn't say this. And they go through all the arguments over time about what the dog whistles were for hating Black people. And that this is the new dog whistle. And they have a commercial about this regarding Trumpkin or Youngkin. And it's genius. If anybody wants to look it up online, it's called Critical Race Card by the Lincoln Project. And it walks just through what I said.
Right.
This is just the latest dog whistle for I don't like Black people.
Right. It is.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Or I'm afraid of Black people. It's whatever. If fear breeds. There was a wonderful quote I saw once from Dr. King, and it was something about how separation breeds ignorance because you don't know the other, and ignorance breeds fear. And, and this is the same thing, fear of that which you avoid because you've been taught to be afraid of. And I think also the fear is that always has been that because Black people were treated so horrifically, inhumanely, cruelly, immorally, that the fear has always been, I think, among white people, is that Black people will even the score, will take revenge. And I think white people have never been able to figure out how that hasn't happened, because they sure as hell would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not agreeing with me.
No, I think that's the nice way to look at it. The other way to look at it is that they just don't want to change. They like the status quo.
Well, because the status quo is them at the top of the pyramid. Yeah.
Right.
They're at the top.
Right. So I don't even think it's afraid. I think they want theirs. And they think if Black people get theirs, then I won't get mine.
Right. Right. Zero-sum theory,
That's right. It's why people are always against better wages for people. Somehow, if so-and-so gets paid better, then that's going to take something from me. God, people are unbelievable.
And it's the argument that there's not enough in the world, and if you get a slice of the pie, that's a slice I can't get.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous because it's the rich people who are taking the pies, not poor people.
Exactly. I saw a quote I'll never get out of my head because it's so true. And it's so absurd that a lot of people, Republicans especially, but a lot of other folks, I'm not going to let Democrats totally off the hook here. A lot of people think that the big problem in this country is that the poor people are getting all the money.
Right.
Well, I mean, that sentence doesn't even make sense.
Of course not. You made me scream. Of course not. But that is what they think. Because any time somebody suggests, like Manchin right now is freaking out that these people are entitled, that we can't have an entitlement society because poor people are getting all the money.
I've used it as an argument with people who said all those welfare people get stuff I don't get. I say, then quit it. If it's so great, then quit your job and go on welfare.
Exactly right.
And it stops the argument. Like, oh yeah, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
Well, and it also presupposes that the majority of people that are taking this money are not. Well, first of all, are not working, and second, aren't white.
Right.
Oh, yeah, right. When the majority of welfare recipients are
children.
White. No, but they're white. I'm screaming.
And children.
Again. Yeah, they are children.
Yes.
Because we disqualified adults. I mean, you know, it's and in some states they pretty much disqualified children too.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say no welfare, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you're saying that to a 6-year-old.
Yeah, you're saying
you should have took better grades in school, when you should have made better choices. You're saying that to an 8-year-old who went to bed hungry last night.
You can't reach these people. We're just talking to ourselves here. This is right. It's pointless.
Right. I mean, and if we go back to the beginning of the conversation with critical race theory, the reason that you can't, and how you brought it up, Lynn, the reason you can't discuss or argue with these people is because they don't know what the hell they're even talking about.
That's right. I know. They don't.
They've just been taught that's bad, and if he's for it, therefore you vote against him.
And they use Fox News as their justification for pretending like they're well informed. Because I heard Tucker Carlson say it must be so.
Oh, dear God. Yeah, I hear you. Hey.
Well, you have plenty of callers.
Well, no, if they claim Tucker Carlson, you just point out that his own defense in a lawsuit against him was that you shouldn't believe anything that came out of his mouth.
None of it matters. Bye. By the way, I've been told that we don't have other callers. Those were false. Whatever. It's okay. We got a lot of emails here. Let me catch up. Okay. Lynn writes about drop boxes. My situation is outrageous too. Lives in Stark County, Ohio, and there's only one drop box, and it's within 50 feet of the county board of elections. Well, Lynn, you expect them to walk somewhere or travel to pick up the ballots? I'm surprised you don't.
It's more an issue. It's more an issue of security.
Yes, right. They're worried that someone will they can guard it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why the difference is in Brown County, all these little villages and towns have them. But they're still right in front of the place that you would drop your ballot anyway. It's just that there's a lot of them.
Barbara writes, a butter crock, better known as a butter keeper, a French butter dish, and there's even a diagram of it, is cleverly designed, originally made in France of ceramic, designed to keep your butter soft yet fresh for several weeks at room temperature. Well, my little butter dish is only a half stick.
Right. So you go right, you can.
Yeah, I don't have to, it's going to be fresh. That's fine. It's perfect. I am so excited. It took me, I'm almost 105 years old, and I now don't have to have hard butter. These kind of epiphanies are just amazing. Amazing. Oh. Barbara says, am I the only person who doesn't know what home rule means? No, Barbara, you're not. I don't know what it means either. Susan, it's something here in Pennsylvania. There's home rule charter. I don't know. Things are so...
It has to be something about local control.
Well, that's right. We have none. I mean, and we have first-class cities and second-class cities.
No,
yes,
but if it is home rule, then, I mean, and it's a Republican proposition, then it might mean center all power in 5 Republican hands.
Yeah, but
so you don't. I mean, you don't know if it's a misnomer.
No, it's just been around forever. Of course, it might be a misnomer. I really don't know. I'm sorry, I can't help you. And I don't know. There's one first-class city in this state, Philadelphia. Pittsburgh is designated literally second class. And because it's second class, I know that the state legislature has power over us that they do not have over Philadelphia, which is such an outrage, I can't see straight. Anyway.
Well, that might be what the home rule stuff is about, Get out of our business.
I don't think. So I want to get back to... I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what to... Susan, do you know that the latest, how the terminology keeps changing around gender stuff? And like I have this thing from the BIPOC, person of color, Latinx, Asian American, AAPI, ally,
well, now they've just put plus at the end, which I appreciate.
POC, non-binary, he, him, she, her, them, him, they, them, heteronormative. And I'm doing this. This is coming off of a New York Times a piece, and it's about how words are important, words matter, words have power, but they can also confuse and muddle things and become flashpoints, obviously. And I'm reading here that the latest thing is BIPOC. Have you seen that around? It's all big. It's like LBGT because it's all big letters. What do they call those big letters? A capital.
Okay, what is BIPOC?
What do you think it is? BIPOC. What does it mean? Come on.
BIPOC. Well, it's a person of color is at the end. So you're a bi person of color?
That's what I would think too. That it means bi. Well, it could. What is it? Bi what? Biracial or bisexual? Sexual. Okay, so BIPOC you think would be bisexual person of color, and that would be wrong. And this now apparently is the go-to. This is the one that's on the rise. It does not mean that. It means Black, indigenous, or other people of color.
Okay, well, it's unclear, so it's not a particular...
It's not very
useful.
good. And that's what the article starts with. They say, no one seems to know where this came from. And they're talking to a young woman, 31 years old in Chicago, who says she kept hearing her colleagues and friends saying BIPOC. And she thought, what is that? Where did that come from? And she says, and she was told, no, this is what you're supposed to say now. You're not
Black, you're BIPOC. Because you are included in that group.
Way.
See, this is what I don't understand. Because even though there are, I am a woman. You know, and that's it. I am a woman, and there is such a thing as a trans woman. But we don't. That's part of an included set, I guess. And sometimes, don't you want to just be your own set?
Well, I think it's getting to the point where everybody wants to be their own set. I don't know.
But I mean, why? You know, I mean, how long? This is my group, but it can be expanded to include this group, and then if we do this, let's just expand it and call us people.
I sure hope we get there.
This is,
but it also it is exhausting. They also,
I mean, I'm still back trying to figure out what LOL means. I think it's better. Lots of luck.
No, it's laugh out loud.
I know.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sure, and that's so passé. I mean, none of the, we can't keep up. So it does say here that the term pregnant people and birthing parent are definitely getting traction instead of saying woman. And in fact, a major medical group is now not saying woman. And I must say, I take offense.
I'm a woman.
Women are more than 50% of the world. And I don't understand.
And they keep figuring out ways to erase us.
It seems that way. And I didn't really understand what Latinx was. Do you know what that is?
Well, there's complaints about Latinx. I mean, I think Latinx is Hispanic. What Hispanic?
No, sort of what used to be kind of Hispanic, but also what? Remember Chicano? Then Latinx is a gender-neutral term, what we used to call Latino. And Latino, with the O on the end, is a masculine.
Right. So now it's Latinx.
So Latinx, but Latino was then always, erased women because you could have said Latina. But right. Latinx, late
I've just been upset because there's about the only way that I can describe myself without attaching myself to a man as a descriptor is to call myself a lady, which I don't particularly like. But I don't like being a whoa man or a female.
I don't care.
I do, because it's somehow like we can't exist without the other. I don't like lady. I don't like lady.
I don't know. I don't either. But here's why, because lady reminds me of,
class.
No, and that you have to cross your legs in a certain way. She's a real lady. Mm-hmm. A lady suggests a certain kind of comportment and
not trash.
I've been working on some thing, as you know, that I have to MC an event coming up this weekend, and I got stuck trying to think of how to greet, start the program off. I thought, it's always hard to sort of get people's attention. They're going to be eating and this and that, and then you got to it's
well, I know how you should start it. Just read this New York Times article. Just start screaming out BIPOC, LGBTQ.
No. I was going, and I actually thought, look, just say, ladies and gentlemen. And then I thought, I don't think you can say ladies and gentlemen anymore because that leaves out, right?
Well,
I mean, this is how fraud.
And even if you say guys, let's get going, then you see you and I think guys is gender. I think guys is gender neutral.
I do
but
too.
Apparently it's not.
Well, I've always used it that way, and I know girls. When I was growing up, we called each other guys. Hey guys, blah blah.
Let's go, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, then I thought, well, maybe I can say ladies and gentlemen, and then and everybody in between and beyond. And it shows how fraught things have become that you're afraid to even address a group for fear of causing offense. I
got it. I got how you do it.
What?
Hello to all who are assembled here.
Humanoids!
Humanoids! Unite!
I mean, so anyway, so there's that. Whatever.
I know it's all impossible.
I'm just telling you. Keep up to date. Laura says my family always kept our butter out. Probably because my grandmother didn't have a refrigerator.
Don't make her laugh. It hurts. Shame on you.
Well, she said her grandmother didn't have a refrigerator when her mother was young.
Right.
Yeah.
Ice boxes. Yeah.
Ice boxes. I kind of remember. Okay. I don't know. I got stuff here that it's.
Did you see in the? Okay, so this is not any. I was looking at the Science Times just in case you were going to find something, and I found I found something so disgusting that I had to not look at it.
I saw it, and it would have been what?
The worm blob.
Oh, but that was last week's.
Oh, well, I was just, I'm online, so it just comes up.
Yeah. The worm blob I did see. You thought that was disgusting?
Well,
did you? Pretty.
But
I have to tell you, the thing in today's, they showed how if you're a shark and you're swimming in your environment under the water and you look up, it shows how a shark would see like a seal or a baby seal. And then it shows what the silhouette the shark would see of a person on a surfboard. It looks
exactly the same.
Oh, yeah. And the article was trying to say, hey, man, it's not like they're bloodthirsty. They're trying to do what they do. And you look like a seal. And they showed how it looks exactly the same. Ellen writes, how about using the Pittsburgher yins? Hello to yins. Ellen, I'd rather shoot myself.
Because she's a lady.
I'm a lady, and we don't speak in such a way. God. I haven't really heard.
Well, you could. You just could go out there and do the Green Way. Hey, you guys.
No, I mean it'll be a very educated crowd, and it'll be a mixed. It's going to be a progressive crowd, which is one of the reasons I'm more nervous.
Well, then you should say, les mesdames et messieurs et tout le monde.
Jesus Christ. Why? I should be losing sleep because I don't know how to welcome a group anymore.
Well, I was up all night 3 nights ago because there was a piece of flashing hanging off the window above my front door, and I was trying to.
You told me, Susan.
I'm just saying, anything can keep you awake all night. That's my point.
Oh, God. So yesterday, Susan, I had, in honor of Halloween, one of the scarier shows I've had in a while, and it was about, I don't know, did you see 60 Minutes by any chance?
Nope.
Sunday. Okay. Well, there was a Israeli, I didn't see it myself. I saw the tail end of it, and it just so happened that I was talking about the same kind of stuff, which is about what's sometimes known as the singularity, which is about artificial intelligence, which is about how we're fucked, which is how, machines are taken over and they'll be so much smarter than us in a blink of an eye that, we're toast. So it turns out on 60 Minutes, there's this Israeli guy who has gotten a lot of attention, who absolutely agrees and who says at most we've got 200 years. I still haven't seen the whole piece. I need to watch it. And he says what is going to happen is that we're going to create, and it's happening already, slowly. We are, and I remember saying this a decade ago, we will self-cyborgize. And we're starting to do it, obviously, with, you see people with things on their heads and talking and blah, blah, blah. And that's nothing compared to where we're heading. And every little cyborgization that we get comfortable with pulls us away from what has been from the beginning of our species, what our species was and how it interacted. It makes us less what we know of as human and makes us into something else. And this guy, the Israeli, says, we're going to create a different species. And what we're looking at now, all of us, is really the last of the Homo sapiens. And I thought, finally, I got something to put on my tombstone.
She was the last of the Homo sapiens.
Here lies. Because, from day
shouldn't
one,
that be Homo sapien?
All right. Well, actually, a friend who's gay said, well, I'll put down, here lies one of the last Homo sapiens. Well, it's really important to laugh about this because it's right on the money. And I was talking about the fact that, who's creating this world? Who's pulling humanity from itself? And it's a high-speed train that cannot be stopped. There are no brakes. It's just going forward. These fucking male nerds who don't have great social skills to start with. They're not as human as a lot of other humans. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I also think youth is scornful of the future. You just don't think about the consequences of your actions 3 decades down the road when you're 20. I'm sorry, you just don't.
No, I know, and these people are young.
Yeah.
And this is why I want to share with you, if you'll allow me, something that my producer,
I don't think I will.
My producer, Zach, after the show yesterday, was reminded of something from Michael Crichton's book, Jurassic Park. And he said, he then sent it to me. It has to do with one of the characters is talking about exactly this problem, that often science is driven by people who have no sense of future. They're just totally to me, it's masturbatory. You're just like, look what I can do. Oh my God. And I just want to read this little bit. This is him talking. This in a book of fiction. And as we know, science fiction has become
predictive.
Absolutely predictive. It is absolutely predictive. So will you listen to this? Because I think it's brilliant. He says, most kinds of power require a substantial sacrifice by whoever wants that power. There's an apprenticeship, a discipline lasting many years, whatever kind of power you want. President of the company, black belt in karate, whatever it is you seek, you have to put in the time, the practice, the effort. You got to give up a lot. It has to be very important to you. And once you have attained it, it is your power. It cannot be given away. It resides in you. It is literally the result of your discipline. And then he goes on. Now, what is interesting about this process is that by the time someone has acquired, let's say, the ability to kill with his bare hands, he has also matured to the point where he won't use it unwisely. So that kind of power has a built-in control. The discipline of getting the power changes you so that you will not abuse it. But scientific power, and here's where you need to listen. Scientific power is like inherited wealth. It is attained without discipline. You read what others have done, and you take the next step. You can do it very young. You can make progress very fast. There is no discipline lasting decades. There is no mastery. Old scientists are ignored. There is no humility. There is only a get-rich-quick, make a name for yourself fast philosophy. Cheat, lie, falsify, it doesn't matter. Not to you or to your colleagues. No one will criticize you. No one has any standards. They're all trying to do the same thing, to do something big and do it fast. And because you can stand on the shoulders of giants when you're after this scientific power, you stand on the shoulders of giants, you can accomplish something very quickly. You don't even know exactly what you have done, but already you have reported it, patented it, and sold it. And the buyer will have even less discipline than you. The buyer simply purchases the power, like any commodity. The buyer doesn't even concede that any discipline might be necessary. A karate master does not kill people with his bare hands. He does not lose his temper and kill his wife. The person who kills is the person who has no discipline, no restraint, and who has purchased his power in the form of a Saturday night special. And that is the kind of power that science fosters and permits. Now, that's from a fiction book, but there's such a truth in that these young nerds who are creating the future are standing on the shoulders of giants and have not gone through the kind of rigor to attain that power. They're just having a field day and not thinking at all about consequences. The guy who was the CEO of Google said that when they were all doing all that stuff, they never thought about negative consequences. Never even entered their mind.
Well, and Mark Zuckerberg, when
right,
required to think about it, simply refuses. So there you go.
Yeah.
No.
Geez, Father Joseph says, stick with yins or y'all. No, I won't.
Stop yelling, Lynn. Save your voice.
What am I supposed to say? And then if I say I don't even know what to say, then someone will take offense. Okay.
I'm placing a bet right now. She's going to stand up and go, "Hey, you guys."
No, I'm not. I wish I could whistle, put my fingers in my mouth.
I know. We are not whistlers.
No, but...
and our father could whistle beautifully, but not that way. But he could...
Not that kind.
He could do the Bing Crosby trilling kind of whistle.
Yeah. And Ellen writes, or you can do what my 8th grade French teacher always uses a greeting. Bonjour, monsieur, madame, et autres. Well, that's sort of what I was thinking. Hello, gentlemen, ladies, and others. But that just sounds... And it says I wasn't really serious about using yins. But I think Father Joseph was. Oh, dear God. Okay. We're out of time. I don't know how that happened. I have to tell you, it's a sad day for me because they're coming to cover up my poor little fish. And I ain't going to see him till the spring.
Bye,
No, I I can't stand it. I hate it. It's funny how you can come to love fish, care about them, worry about them. Anything you take care of, you worry about.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're out of time, and I didn't scream much. And
no, and I want you at about 10:45 to think of your mother and smile because she'll be meeting with the surgeon. And I'm taking bets on who walks out.
Okay, so no, that'll be 11:45 my time.
Right.
That poor guy. No, she'll be. She's not going to be.
No, she's going to sick me on him. That's her plan.
Well, you're not going to. Yeah.
No, I'm going to be fine.
Poor guy. Well, you'll tell me about it later.
I will. Okay.
Okay, guys. Listen, if you haven't voted, vote.
Yeah, vote.
And don't anybody. If there's an
and bye, Mike. I'll talk to you next week.
No, you won't. Oh, that's what I want to say.
Oh, that's right. No, I won't talk to you next week.
I'm not going to be here next week, guys. I have to go.
You don't have to.
No, I'm going to Green Bay and spelling Susan in her watching over mother duties. So I'm going to be traveling and then just sort of getting, comfortable. And then I can start up the next week doing the show from there. But I am going to take next week off. Okay?
Could have just said you were going to rest your voice. Okay. And then the week after that, she'll be in Green Bay and I'll be in Chicago and we'll both be doing the show exactly the same.
Yeah, that'll be odd. Yeah. Okay. That's the way it's going to be.
Okay.
All right, Sue. Thanks a million.
Okay. Bye. Have a wonderful day. Okay. Bye.
I'm going to try. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, you guys. Bye. Bye, everyone. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.